Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mad Church Disease channel. Thank you guys so very much for coming in here. Good to see everybody coming in here. I promise I'm not going to hold you very long, but good afternoon to all of you. Hopefully you guys are doing well, and hopefully you're having a great Wednesday. I believe today is Wednesday. Sometimes I be in the house so much I can't remember what day is what, but it is Wednesday, and thank you guys so very much for joining me on today. Thank you so much, Tasha Global, for being on the subway and listening to the Mad Church Disease channel. I appreciate that. Welcome every single one of you. Shout out to Lynn Pearson. Shout out to Christine Parks. Shout out to Moni No Love. Thank y'all so much. Shout out to Princess. Thank you so much for joining us. Shout out to Fred Samuel. Uncle Fred, thank you so much. Toy, thank you so very much. And blessings and harmony to you as well. Also, let me see who here. Gerald. Gerald is here. Gerald went ahead and set the order. So as Lynn says, the order of the house has been addressed. Hey, Lydia, good to see you here as well. Kashara, good to see you here as well. And so I'm so glad to have all of you guys with me on tonight. Let me just go ahead and get right into the things. Of course, you guys know we are addressing the second day. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. No, wait a minute now. Oh, Lord. This thing is having a problem. Remove. Okay, thank you. My God, we can't seem to get this stuff to work. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on trial day 3. Cassie, of course, is back on the stand. She is about 8.5 months pregnant. She is about to burst at any moment, and she is testifying. This is day number 2 of her testimony, but day number 3 of our trial. And we, of course, want to keep you updated on all of the information that is coming up with this particular trial. Now, we're going to conclude yesterday's information, and we're going to bring you into today's information. So I want to make sure that you guys are aware. If you are a content creator or you're someone who is looking to get a synopsis of what's going on, I'm going to try and be as brief as I possibly can, give you all the updates, so you, of course, will be able to go to your channel and share this information. Okay. All right. So day two, of course, ended with Cassie's testimony. And of course, this criminal trial is for Sean P. Diddy Combs. It is featuring the long-awaited testimony of Cassandra Ventura. She, of course, is the star witness and also the former girlfriend of Sean P. Diddy Combs. Now, what she has done over the last couple of days is really give an account of some of the most detailed, harrowing testimony as far as the things that happened to her. I got so grossed out today. I was just like, okay, how are people even, I don't even know. How are people even participating in these types of things? I just don't know. But let me go on. When I listened to some of this testimony, I was just like, okay, this is just disgusting. And it reminds me so much. And I know, there's a lot of nuances to all of this situation. But according to Cassie's own testimony, she was 21 years old. Also, she's claiming that this is the first serious relationship that she ever had. God forbid. That's so sad that this is the first relationship that this young lady had. And that's bad. That it was with this dude and all of the crap that he had going on. What's up, Daryl? So it's just bad that this was the first relationship that she had as a 21-year-old. She's actually giving a detailed account of her exploitation and all of the stuff. Now, what the case should be focused on, I feel, is the charges which include racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and unforced sexual performance. Now, I'm how do I want to say this? Y'all can tell I'm struggling with my words today because I'm telling you this whole case is starting to gross me out. Okay, so here's the situation. You have to detach yourself from the emotionalism of this. And I'm hoping that the jury, from what I'm understanding and what I'm being told, is that the jury is very attentive. They are paying attention a lot. And no one is kind of wavering. There seems to be a lack of emotion. Um on their part. Hey, what's up, St. James? So everybody's kind of like limiting their emotions in the courtroom. And so I think that the jury and the people who are of a older age group are going to listen to all of the salaciousness of this, and we are definitely going to compartmentalize. And I hate to say this because I think sometimes when you think along a different type of train of thought, a lot of people tend to believe that you are discrediting the abuse that happened, or you're discrediting the person who's giving an account. And you guys know I have often said over here on this channel that if you put your morals on the ground, don't be surprised when people stomp on them to death. And at 21 years old, I really do believe that, uh, somebody should have been able to say no. I don't believe that all of these things that she's participating in, that she should not have been able to say no and make some decisions, because this got really graphic today as far as the blood and some of the things that were going on. She even showed pictures in the courtroom today of, bruises and all kinds of things that transpired with her. And so, but I am of a different opinion, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I have I was 21, I was 15, I was 16, 17, I was a teenager. I understand what it's like to be put in uncompromising situations, and I have to leave the situation and walk out and walk home on sometimes. Uh, so I've had to walk home. I've had to leave some friends. I've had to get rid of some friends because I wasn't going to participate in certain types of behavior. Now, I realize that everything is different. Everybody's situation is different. And as a man, and see, sometimes as a dude, it's hard for me to have these types of conversations because I am a man, and I can't look at this from a female perspective. But I always think about what Whoopi Goldberg talked about when Whoopi Goldberg said, you don't give away your power. A lot of times these women and a lot of these young girls are just giving away their powers. I don't know what it is. I don't know if Cassie had her father in her life. I can't speak to that. I don't know. But one thing I can tell you of what I heard today was disgusting. Now, was it illegal? I don't know. What they're trying to establish, I think, is a pattern of behavior, and they're trying to establish this pattern of behavior to say, hey, guys, it was hard to say no to Diddy. You couldn't say no to him. If you said no to him, he became jealous and enraged. And so the situation became a relatively hostile situation. And so let me paint the scene again today. It was pretty much a crazy courtroom scene again today. People's outside the courtroom. There, of course, a lot of media, a lot of spectators. A lot of people from the public are out there, and so it was just that. She appeared, of course, in the courtroom again, and she avoided eye contact with P. Diddy as well as his family. So she has avoided eye contact with them as well. And we all know, if you're new to my channel, that I've already discussed with you that the testimony that the trial is closed to audio as well as video. Now let me finish off yesterday. Y'all know that Daniel Phillips' testimony, he ended his testimony yesterday. He had cross-examination. He was one of the male escorts that was hired. He testified about sexual encounters involving Ventura and Combs. What the defense attorneys came back to cross-examine him, and they hit on the fact that he was a willing participant. They tried to establish the fact that he was a willing participant to this. Hey, Mary, and that he was coherent and that he was not under the influence of any drugs. And he did state that some of these encounters that he was not under the influence of any drugs, and that he was a willing participant. They also talked about getting paid for some of these deals. And I just feel like, if somebody's going to go to jail for this kind of stuff, now maybe I shouldn't think this way. But if your testimony is going to land me in prison, I think you ought to pay me all my money back. That's just me. Give me back my money. Okay. Give me back my money. I want all my money back. All of it. Not some of it, not a piece of it. I want all of my money back. I want all of it. Initially, he talked about wait, I'm skipping down here. And so he described situations where Combs was really controlling, and he saw that P. Diddy was bossing Cassie around and telling Cassie what to do in those sexual type situations. And so there was a situation, there were situations where Combs was dictating what was going on in those meetings. He was very controlling. He also talked about the payments, like I said, that he received for the sexual performance, as well as the relationship dynamics. He actually talked about the fact that he was so enamored with Cassie because she was such a beautiful woman. And he was, it was like one of the first times he had sex with a woman that was just that beautiful. And so it was a standout kind of situation for him. And I'm sure, that was an interesting situation. Now, I will tell you, there was also testimony that stated that Cassie, even after leaving P. Diddy, made some arrangements with some escorts and some people. So it became a part of her lifestyle. Now, I want to tell you guys something as well. And this is going to kind of get a little deep as far as this concern. If she was a young lady who first started participating in these types of sexual acts, that sets a precedence in her mindset as far as what sex is supposed to be, what sex is supposed to look like. And you understand what I'm saying? So I think on some level, Cassie has probably developed a desire to have sex in certain kind of ways. And therefore, there were certain things that she continued outside of that. And I think that that is also going to be something that the defense is going to harp on, because even when she got rid of I'm going crazy, too many cases. Even when she got rid of P. Diddy, she was still kind of participating in certain things. That's why when you open the door to certain kind of sexual activities and certain things in a sexual appetite, you're going to find yourself wanting to do certain things. Now, as a man, I can tell you this is one of the reasons why a lot of men have to be very careful with porn watching and stuff like that, because when you have these concepts in your mind of how you think sex is supposed to be, you get all of these work kind of concepts, and you're not really understanding when you're younger. So you try to go in mimicking what you've seen and what you saw, and your girlfriend and your wife is not a hoe. So you need to understand that that there are just certain things that's and certain people that you're with may not want to necessarily participate in. And I just found this testimony today. It was just today has just been gut wrenching. It's just been gut wrenching. Moving right along. So we start with Cassie's testimony. She started, of course, yesterday, talking about when she met him and all of that kind of stuff. She also talked about that their relationship was initially romantic. It wasn't necessarily a situation where it started off with freak offs and things like that. She talked about the fact that she was career focused, and she had signed a 10-album deal with Bad Boy Records, but only released one album. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I think the 10-album deal that she signed with Bad Boy was so that P. Diddy could have control over her and could keep her under his thumb for as long as he wanted to. Because if she was under contract to him, he was always going to be able to have some type of dealings with her. He was always going to be able to have his thumb on her. And I think that's why he gave her a 10-album deal. You think about it. What song has Cassie ever made that you're remembering and that just conjuring up a memory for you? I rest my case. Moving right along. She talked about also the excitement of having some music prospects and soon to be doing all of her music, but that sort of shifted into exploitive exploitation and exploitative dynamics. So it just became a situation where he just began to exploit her. Now, she's talked a lot about physical abuse and the psychological control of the situation. So she talked about how he used to monitor her phone and grab her phone and look in her phone. She also talked about how the staff used to track her. So if she would leave and go somewhere, the staff would call her, and or P. Diddy would call her to find out exactly where she was at any given moment to make sure they knew where she was. So everybody had to know where Cassie's whereabouts were. Now, I wanted, because I got another update before I came live, and I wanted to talk about this before. Cassie claims that the experts were paid less if they ejaculated before Diddy wanted them to. So if you popped your load before Diddy, you got paid less money. Now, I want to know whether they were providing Viagra, were they providing stuff to help individuals not for individuals to last longer. Because could you imagine being a person that was hired to come and have sex, and because you pop your load quicker, you had to take a pay cut? Did y'all hear what I said? Some of this stuff I can't even, it's hard to even talk about out loud. I'm just saying, but that is actually something that she testified to. I'm just saying, okay? She said that she, of course, referred to and continues to refer to the freak offs as coerced sexual encounters. And that's how she refers to them. Right, St. James? I'm just saying, she is beautiful. Beautiful girl. Beautiful girl. I'm just saying, she's a beautiful girl. Let's go on. Let's go on. Ventura testified about being prepared physically for these sessions. So there was a ramp up to these sessions. You had to prepare for these sessions. It wasn't like you could just, come off of whatever you was doing and just walk into the session. No, you had to prepare for the session. One of the ways that you prepare for the sessions is, she had to get her nails done. He would prefer that you had French tip nails. You had to have waxing and tanning. And also he pretty much controlled the appearance. Also, if they were having these freak offs in a hotel room, there were extra sheets and bedding that was provided because they knew that it was going to get soiled. I hate to get into the nature of this, but this is what was talked about in court. There was always blood and urine. Oh God, I hate to talk about this. When I heard some of this, I was just like, y'all listen to me. Who's having sex to the point to where you're bleeding? You're bleeding and you don't stop. You don't seek medical attention. You don't be like, oh, I got to stop this. I mean, this is insanity. This is insanity. But the question to you and me is, if you were a juror, is this criminal? Because all they're talking about is sexual stuff, but it's not necessarily criminal. You got to prove the criminality of this. That's the part. You got to prove the criminality. And you also have to prove the predicate acts. What was the foundation of the criminal activity and what led to the additional criminal activity? I'm just saying. This was disgusting. And, you can even see I'm even struggling with the fact of even having had this conversation because this whole thing was disgusting. She talked about the fact that people, that they were urinating in her mouth at one particular point, to the point that where she gagged and she coughed up. You know what I'm saying? So she talked about the fact that she loved Diddy. And so a lot of times she would do these things simply because he asked her. Yes, Daryl, I agree. It is a miracle. It is an absolute miracle that nobody caught a disease. Okay, that nobody caught a disease. Moving right along. These encounters, she said, included ecstasy. And what did I tell y'all yesterday? The cocoa. The cocaine, also Molly to keep her awake and compliant. She talked about the fact that they were taking Molly and they gave her Molly. She said that these sessions were frequent. They were weekly sessions they had. A lot of these sessions could last anywhere between 36, you heard me correctly, to 72 hours. And they will be multiple episodes per event. Okay. Now, some of the things that they use in this situation were baby oil, of course, mask, wigs. She had to have on very high heel shoes. They had to have candles. They had to have lighting setups for the camera and all of that stuff. She said at one particular time she broke down on the stand and she just started crying, talking about how humiliating it was for her. Now, including all of that urination stuff. Now, y'all, now, here's where things kind of get a little sticky for me. You stayed for 10 years. You stayed for 10 years. I don't understand how you stay for 10 years and this be such a humiliating situation. In there. Well, most of his children are, he has older kids. I don't know about if the young kids were in there. I don't even know if they're allowing the young kids in the courtroom. If that is the case, to be honest with you, it is what it is. Ain't nothing you can do about that. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I'm just saying. But she stayed for 10 years. Despite the humiliation. She says that she had some emotional conflict all the time, including just wanting to please him. I want to be honest with you. If I'm a juror, I'm not really buying that part. Not when you told me that you stayed for 10 years and you've been in this situation for 10 years. There comes a level of caring about myself, especially if I'm bleeding, especially if you're choking on urine, things of that nature would most certainly cause a great sense of let me get the heck out of here. Now, Leah, I get what you're saying and I respect what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying, but check this out. This is the worst 50 Shades of Grey bull crap I think I've ever heard in my entire life. This is horrible. And I agree with you, Larisha. I really do. I agree with you. I really do. I agree with you. Because it became a situation where it became very, very physical. And Daryl, I understand. And I do understand that, Daryl. And I need you guys to understand something. This channel focuses on abuse victims. So y'all know I get that already. Y'all know I have that dynamic and I understand that dynamic. But because I understand court and the judicial system and how they create narratives, and they're creating these narratives to elicit a certain type of emotion and response from the public as well as from the jurors, it kind of causes a little bit of pause for me. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that her accounts aren't accurate. I'm not saying they're not worthy. I'm just saying because of how court operates and how this stuff operates, I get very, my antennas go up. And I can assume that on this jury, when they get ready to go back there and deliberate, you know, of course, the emotional of it is gonna weigh heavy. But that's one of the reasons why the defense is going to have to do their very best to tear this stuff down. She confirmed that there were some violent incidents, including being beaten in an episode that was recorded on video. And so she talked about that as well. That was the one time that she talked about the other stuff, but she also showed pictures on her cell phone today. They saw pictures of her actual cell phone of physical abuse of her. So she kept all the records of that. And so she kept that as well. She's talked about the fact that he's thrown her to the ground on multiple occasions and that she did not fight back. She's just simply said she didn't fight back, and she did that for her own safety because she just felt like, you know, she wasn't going to be able to do anything to him. So she stopped, and, you know, she just pretty much got in a fetal position and took it, just like she did in the video that we, of course, all saw. Now, let me tell you the danger of what we heard over the yesterday and today, and the legal implications of what's going to happen. This testimony that she is given, ladies and gentlemen, supports the charges of racketeering involving the staff members that were assisting P. Diddy as far as the crimes of sex that were perpetrated against her. Okay. Now, are the people, the staff members, going to have to testify? More than likely, they are probably going to have to testify, but she is pretty much giving an account, and the line and the succession of thought is leading towards the racketeering situation. I'm just telling you the legal implications. That is what it is. I don't have a dog in the fight. I won't make an assessment whether or not it has been proven per se. I'm just telling you that is the line in the train of where this train is going. Okay. And they're also giving detailed descriptions of coercion and the abuse that is central to the sex trafficking charges. So the coercion aspect is central. So being coerced into that. But here's my thing. I think where the struggle is going to be as far as coercion is concerned, but certain people that participated in certain parts of these acts were only coerced with a payment. So they took payment, and that was the coercion aspect of it. So they were coerced to the point that they took payment. So that's going to be a hurdle to kind of overcome, but we'll see how the defense takes care of that. Now, the defense, of course, their strategy really just appears to be portraying her, Cassie, as a willing participant rather than a victim. So they're trying to paint her as somebody who was willing. And of course, that's what the defense has to do in order for them to, make their client seem like he's not doing that. But I'm going to tell you, that's going to be very, very hard to do based upon what you're hearing over these next couple of days. And at some point when it's the defense's time, they're going to have to pick away at these people. And they're very limited with Cassie because she's 8.5 months pregnant. This woman could give birth at any moment. And so this part is going to, if this leads over into next month and they need her testimony next month, it's going to be very, very difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult. All right, let me see here. I'm torn. I get he is Diddy, but he is Diddy. And it's a lot of people that don't like him and would love to see his downfall. I feel like she could have gone and exposed him to somebody. Well, I'll be honest with you. So do I. You didn't go to the police. Your first initial, listen to me. If I'm bleeding in a sexual encounter that somebody is forcing me to participate in, after I get out of this situation, I'm going to the police because I'm bleeding and now I need to heal. Y'all feel what I'm saying? Now I need to heal. Because this is crazy. This is an incredible situation. I'm just saying. Now, how my phone is playing right now, I don't know. This is some weird stuff. Phone just decided to start playing. I'm just saying. My dad passed away. Y'all know it's criminal stuff always playing on my phone, so I can hear. As a matter of fact, let me address this now. All right, so that's that. There will be more witnesses, and well, there's 3 main witnesses. One of them is missing in action, so there are only 2 main witnesses that they have for this case. I want y'all to understand that. The rest are surrounding cast. Okay. Cassie is one of them, and then there's another woman. I forget her name at the moment, but there's another lady, and so and they're keeping her under wraps for some odd reason. So that we'll find out. I know her. I've heard her name, but I just can't remember it at this particular time. If you guys can remember the name, and I understand your question, and I think your question is valid. I think it's just more or less unethical, but I think how they're going to go with the legal aspect is the coercion aspect, and not being able to say no to him and to saying that it's a forcible situation. That's how they're getting into the sex trafficking part, and also the money paying the money. But I think that's more unethical than it is criminal. Um, um, and Lynn, you are correct, because I've never walked in those shoes. I would never be able to understand that train of thought. So I most certainly would understand what you're saying, and that's why I walk humbly with these types of conversations, and I do my best to just give you my commentary and what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling as far as the case is concerned, and move on, because this is really touchy. This is a very touchy and emotional situation for a lot of people. A lot of people, if you've had trauma and you've had sexual situations and sexual trauma, this could be a lot. This could be triggering. And I agree with you, Christine. This is a mess. I just want to tell y'all this. This is a mess. Yesterday and today's testimony is a mess. Just so y'all know, the jury appeared attentive but showed minimal visible emotion. They were very stoic in how they looked at Cassie and how they viewed this stuff. Very minimum emotion. Emotionless were these people, from what I'm being told. No significant facial expressions. There were no interruptions noted during any difficult details or anything like that. So nothing. And Karen, I definitely get that as well. A lot of times women aren't believed, even with overwhelming evidence. I'm not one of those guys. Women are not believed about sexual encounters, especially when the accused person is wealthy. And I definitely agree with that. 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 That was from today's testimony, not yesterday. So I'm giving you kind of 2 days in one day right now. I'm taking you back and forward because I talked about that other guy's testimony. I wasn't real. I told that a lot of them were emotionless, so they weren't getting a whole bunch of emotion. But let me just go on. I'll go on. Here's what's coming up next. Of course, Cassie is scheduled to be on the stand for several more days. She's going to have an extensive cross-examination coming ahead. They are going to take Cassie through the ringer. You better best believe that. They're going to address her videotaped evidence. They're also going to talk about the sexual stuff and the violence. It's going to continue with an in-depth abuse of the exploitation and an alleged side of the exploitation part of this. So they're going to deal with that. So it's going to be very interesting on how that goes. All right. Now, let me just tell you, this particular trial is getting a lot more media scrutiny. A lot of people are looking at this a little differently now. They're starting to really look at this differently. There are ongoing legal actions related to a lot of the stuff that's going on, and so many other things that are going on in this particular case. A lot of this testimony is reflecting complex relationships marked by control, exploitation, violence, and trauma, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's criminal. And see, that's the other thing that a lot of people are going to have to remember. And I told you guys yesterday that even though it's emotional, and even though it kind of gets you emotional, you have to think, is this criminal? So every time you hear something and they're saying something, you have to start asking yourself, okay, well, but is this criminal? And so that's what I really kind of tried to do as it relates to this situation. I've definitely tried to do that. Now, for those of you that are coming in and this is the first time that you are watching my channel and getting to understand us a little bit better, I try to go over a lot of this stuff, and I try to go over all sorts of trending topics, but I want you guys to understand a little bit more about what the Mad Church Disease channel is about.
Mad Church Disease, a channel that's all about current events, news, and Christian drama. A channel that's dedicated to our forgotten brothers and sisters throughout the ages. Our brothers and sisters who courageously stepped outside the safe bounds of institutional Christianity to tell the truth. A channel whose goal is to help the average person understand that Jesus plus nothing is everything. So comment, subscribe, and smash the notifications button to be a part of this channel.
Welcome to the Mad Church Disease channel, a channel dedicated to our forgotten brothers and sisters throughout the ages. Want to stay connected to me and the Mad Church Disease community? Well, then join our email community newsletter. Stay in the know with all the updates and fresh content that is created for this channel. It's time you join the private community for the revolutionary family, where we can talk and laugh all in a space that's safe with a no judgment zone. Connect with other members and build lasting friendships. The doors are now open. Want to stay connected and be notified each time I go live? Subscribe to the text community and be notified each time that we go live. Simply add your details for instant updates on all our lives. Are you a budding YouTuber or business professional who would like my thoughts on all things business related? Book a free 15-minute consultation where I can help with social media, YouTube, web design, and so much more. Book your consultation now and build your future. Get away from the rat race and build your business. All right, everybody. Thank you so very much for coming back to the Mad Church Disease channel. Shout out to all of you that are watching. If you are new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. Please make sure that you hit the like button as well, because we want to make sure that you guys are growing and coming along with us as we discuss various topics over here on this particular channel. Now, I want you guys to understand something. As we address this subject, I wanted to address this with humility. There are no absolutes for me in this situation. Today is a little bit more emotionally charged, if I'm going to admit. The stuff that I heard today grossed me out to the point to where I was like, I don't even really know if I want to go live and talk about this. But I think I handled it really well. I didn't get into the gory details because there was some gory details and I just don't want to do that. All I want to tell you guys is they talked a lot about blood and soiling of garments and having sex even while she was on her ministration. I mean, they went into some gory stuff, and I just don't want to do that. I just don't want to do that. I just want to give you guys the synopsis of facts and leave it where it's at. And for those of you that are watching the broadcast and you're supporting the Mad Church Disease channel, you know that when we go live, we always ask if we could get at least 10 people to give at least $10 to help us with our program. We would really appreciate it. Of course, that information should be appearing on your screen momentarily, just so y'all know. And this way you can support the channel if you want to support the channel. I'm going to be making a decision later on whether or not I'm going to go live later tonight. But I want you guys to understand, just please make sure that you support the channel. And I appreciate all of you that are doing that. So y'all make sure y'all support the Mad Church Disease channel. Shout out to all of you that did yesterday. Shout out to Kevin Moore, because Kevin Moore, helped us out last night and we were able to meet our budget. I think Kevin was the last person to give. So I want to shout Kevin Moore out right now. So thank you so much, Kevin, for your support of the Mad Church Disease channel. All right, you guys. Now, here's the thing. And I want to say this. Y'all got to understand. These people that are involved with P. Diddy, although there was money exchange, there was emotional stuff exchange. But let me ask you a question. Let me ask y'all a question. If you hire someone according to the law, and I need to go back. Well, let's just be clear. If you hire someone for sex according to the law, it is against the law and you can be held accountable for it. The sex trafficking part of this is probably, I'm starting to lean that he might end up getting convicted on the sex trafficking part of this. I don't know about the RICO. The RICO thing is, because like I said, the predicate act part of this. Thank you again, Kevin. I don't know about this. I don't know about this racketeering part, but the sex trafficking, I'm sort of leaning toward that. And here's why I say that. All you have to prove as it relates to sex trafficking is that pretty much that there was money exchange for sex. And you know, you understand what I'm saying? And you were flying these people all around. I kind of feel like that's going to be easily provable, because you got people who are testifying as a witness that they were a prostitute, or they were, that they took money from P. Diddy to participate in these behaviors. So I don't know. You guys tell me in the chat, and you guys tell me in the comment sections what you think about that, because that's kind of what I'm leaning toward. Now, let's talk about, and I just want to reiterate this just as well. These are the charges. Let me see. Let me go back. He's charged with racketeering. Oh, let me go back. I gotta go back. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. Let's talk about the charges one more time. Let's talk about the charges, because I want to talk about these charges just for a second. Let's talk about the charges just for a second. I want to be clear. He is charged with sex trafficking, racketeering. That's the RICO. Conspiracy, transportation for prostitution. Okay. Well, the transportation for prostitution part, when a prostitute gets on the stand and says he paid me to travel here, that pretty much covers transportation for prostitution, unless I'm not understanding that properly, right? So that part I understand. Okay, that part. Okay. Abuse of women. He's a charge with abuse of women. I didn't even know that was a charge, but I guess that is a charge, among others. So sex trafficking, transportation of prostitution. I think from the testimony of the prostitute, Daniel, whatever his name, Phillips, or whatever that guy's name was, that I think that might be proven. But they also have other witnesses coming forward, guys, and we're only on day number 3. I'm just saying. So this is going to be a mess, because I mean, they're going to have a lot of people coming forward. So this is going to be interesting. Okay. But the racketeering, I'm still done. I don't know about this racketeering thing. God is agape love, says Cassie voluntarily performed the sex acts. She knew she was getting paid. Could be possible. I don't know. So basically he was a glorified pimp that needed to, you know what, Gerald, what I was thinking when I heard today and I started listening to some of the stuff, I said, you know what? What P. Diddy did with her is what I would define as real grooming. He groomed her into this kind of behavior. That's what I'm feeling. And that's what I got out of that. He groomed her because, according to her, this was her first adult relationship. Okay. So this was the first adult relationship that she had. And he would tell her how to stand, where to look, where to smile, da da da. He pretty much told her everything. So he was grooming her into being what he wanted her to be, Gerald. And that's part of the problem and the craziness of this entire situation, as far as I'm concerned. I think the whole thing is actually quite disgusting. To be honest. But I told you guys yesterday, these types of men are very insecure. And they talked a lot yesterday about how jealous he was. When a man gets to be controlling like this, he is so insecure. He want to tell his girl what to wear, how to stand, how to, I mean, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. And then the nicknames that they're naming each other. They pick nicknames out, and she calls him Pop Pop, which is what she named, or what the nickname she had for her grandfather. Dude, why are you calling the dude you're dating Pop Pop when that's who you called your grandfather? Now, I know some of this they're embellishing a little bit, because if that's the nickname you chose for your dude, that's the nickname you chose for your dude. It's kind of weird, if you ask me, but it is what it is. And Moni says, even if you're paid, it's still considered trafficking. So hey. Hey. That's all I want to say. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole, Moni. I'm leaving that alone because I'm trying to walk humbly with this situation. Well, that's a good question. I think that she was traveling. I think she was living a very opulent lifestyle. She was happy with that lifestyle because she even testified to the fact that she liked the attention that it brought to her. So, and she was busy trying to please him. Yeah. Well, Daryl, I mean, you might want to be called daddy every now and then. I'm just saying, it just depends on the circumstance. But let's move on. So I'm just saying, you got you got some serious stuff going on in this situation. Uh, yeah, and it is mind blowing to me. This whole case is starting. The whole stuff where they talked about how the stuff that they were doing. I was just like, this is just disgusting. And this ain't even real. This ain't even sex. I don't even know what you would call some of this stuff that they participated in. That ain't even sex. You don't bleed and you don't have all of that kind of stuff when you're having sex. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just disgusting. And that's the only way I can describe it. I think P. Diddy and this entire trial and all of this entire stuff is actually quite disgusting. And I'm sorry to say it, ladies and gentlemen, but that is just literally how I feel. I don't think it goes any worse than that. Any worse than that. I don't know what else to say. She goes and she testifies. You know what I mean? She shows up 8.5 months pregnant. Oh, just disgusting. Just disgusting. And this is the situation, ladies and gentlemen. So we are on day 3. We're going to be entering into day 4 on tomorrow. I'm going to give you a recap of tomorrow as well around this same time. So if you're new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. You hit the bell notification and make sure you hit all notifications so you will not miss a single notification and you will definitely be updated on all of the stuff. Listen, I understand, Kevin, it's a power play, but this is weird. This is weird. This is so weird. And but I keep going back to my thought. Is it all criminal? No. And you got to prove the criminal element of it. Uncle Fred, they need Jesus and all the apostles. Oh my goodness. They need listen, I want them to get everybody. Shoot, bring everybody. Bring everybody. All the archangels, bring everybody. This is too much. This is too much. This is too much. This is too much. And to be honest with you, as a grown man, as a fully grown man, I feel like if you having to do all of this and you're doing all of this, there's something wrong with you. And I done said it a million times on this channel. Some of us guys, we need to work out some stuff before we get into our 40s and 50s. You don't need to be in your 50s baby oiling folks down and doing all of this kind of stuff. It just seems to be words. Kevin says it seems to be in the same category as rape, which is also not sex. It could be, Kevin. This is just disgusting for me. This is just disgusting. Yeah, he came into a Bible yesterday, into the courtroom yesterday, Tosh, with a Bible. Yeah, I talked about that on yesterday. Lord have mercy. I'm not surprised by what this dude is doing, and neither am I surprised by all of the stuff that these folks are, are going at and going into. It's just disgusting. You just hush your mouth up, sir. You just hush your mouth up. Hush your mouth up. But I'm just saying, if P. Diddy, y'all got to keep in mind, sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, transportation for prostitution, and abuse of women, among other things. And I think that the prosecutors are focused on these couple of days as far as the sex trafficking and the transportation for prostitution. Those two things I'm giving leaning towards the prosecution at this point. Because when you have people to testify that they've been paid to travel for sex, that's transportation for prostitution. That's proven. That you've literally proven that. Now, how they come up with these questions at the end. Let me tell y'all something else that goes on in court. If you didn't know this, the final questions that are presented to the jury are discussed between the prosecuting and the defense, they come together to determine how the questions are posed to the jury in order for the jury to make that final decision, and they base that on around the law. Okay, so that's how that's done, just so you know, if you've never had that experience. When you read the U.S. law on X trafficking and requirement to meet the threshold, you will see Cassie has met all the elements. You have to read the law. You know what? Real time, and you may be right. You may be right. I'm leaning in that direction. I just said that. Transportation for prostitution and sex trafficking. I'm leaning in that direction a little bit more now than I was on yesterday because of the testimony from the sex trafficking guy, and also you know, really mainly the sex trafficking guy, not really Cassie. I'm gonna be honest. Cassie's testimony is more or less to get the emotion out of it. I don't care about the emotion. The emotion is not what I care about. I care about the proving of the case. The sex trafficking and that hiring of the prostitute and travel, having the prostitute to travel to come to these events, that's the legal requirement as far as I'm concerned. I'm not moved by all of this. He beat me, all this other kind of stuff. Listen, you didn't go to the police, you didn't do all that stuff. And listen, y'all need to understand, people are tired of people coming back 10 and 15 and 20 years later talking about he did this to me and he did this to me. Listen, if somebody did something to you, take your hinder parts to the police and fill out a police report. Not a police report, police. Go to the police. Okay, go to the police, because some of this stuff is just flat out ridiculous, and I find it just kind of crazy for you to be coming back talking about, they did this to me, and blah, 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 blah. No. And I understand some victims are too afraid to come forward. I get all of that. That's the same thing we say all the time. But we got to educate a new generation of people and young people and young women that I understand that you're afraid, but you got to stand in your fear and do what's necessary in order for you to get, to deal with the situation. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you gotta throw caution and fear to the wind. You got to go to the popo. And that could be possible too, old school heart. It could be possible, and I could be wrong. I'm not going to lie to you all. But today was a very, very interesting situation. That's all I'm going to say to that. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for anybody who wants to come up and share your thoughts. You're more than welcome to do so. I've made it pretty much to my hour length that I like to talk for. You guys, I'll go over and pin it at the top of the chat. Don't take a long time. If you got something you want to say, please don't take forever to come up. Somebody said sometimes we have to wait on God's timing. Well, God is a right now God. Aspirations. God is a right now God. So you need to go to the police right now. He's a right now God. And if you don't believe me, go ask Dorinda Cole. He's a right now God. I'm just saying, he's a right now God. Some people need to just understand you need to go to the police right now and stop all of this. I'm going to wait on this and I got to wait on that. No, take your hinder parts to the popo. Take your hinder parts to the popo and deal with the situation. Dorinda Clark Cole said he's a right now God. He's a right now God. He's a right now God. Take your behind on to the popo right now. That's all I'm saying. And it's important that you do so. That's all I'm saying. People need to understand that aspect and deal with it. I'm not discrediting Cassie's statements at all. I'm not speaking ill of Cassie at all. To be honest with you, I'm not giving Diddy the benefit of the doubt, but I do believe he's innocent until he's proven guilty. And that's just how I feel on the situation. A lot of people are going to need to understand that there's some stuff that you need to deal with. Yeah. But you know what I kept thinking the whole time I was thinking about this today? This is some 50 Shades of Grey bull. Y'all hear me? This takes 50 Shades of Grey to a whole nother level. I'm just like, Lord. But see, this is why certain people's spirits, I don't when I sense their spirit, I don't like them for reasons sometimes. And sometimes I don't know why I don't like them. Because to be honest with you, I've never really liked the arrogance of P. Diddy. And this is one of the reasons why, is because he felt untouchable. He felt like he could do whatever he want and there will be no repercussions for it. And we are now seeing that situation play out, ladies and gentlemen, right before our very eyes. And Karen, I could definitely understand your point and agree with you there as well. I don't know why you burning to call me a name. What did I do? Jesus, Lynn, calm down. Oh, that's because I dropped the link. I just figured it out. Oh, this one right here. All right. This one right here. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, what you talking about? Oh my God, Moni. Oh my God, Moni. It's just a trip. This is a whole trip. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand you should hit the like button, subscribe to the Mad Church Disease channel, and make sure if you're not a member of our channel, you also subscribe to the channel as well. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. Please make sure that you hit the like button and please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell icon and make sure you press all notifications so that way you will never miss any of the exclusive content that comes on my channel. Make sure that you never miss a video. Now, I try to go live every day about 2:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is about 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then I come back at night at around 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is about 10:30 Eastern Standard, with some more exclusive content. So if you want more Mad Church Disease show content, we'd love for you to become a member, a revolutionary member of our channel. Please make sure that you hit the join button that's right next to the subscribe button or somewhere around here so that you guys can receive access to special community posts. You guys get all of the access to my community only lives because we've got some sipping chats that we're going to be doing, and you guys will get exclusive content. So just make sure that you head on over to the channel page, click on the join button, and make sure that you do that. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate your love and support, and I'll see you on my very next video.
We are Mad Church Disease, helping you understand that Jesus plus nothing is everything. This is a show for everyone, believers and non-believers, from churched to the unchurched. Help us grow the channel by supporting our non-profit causes and create more consistent content. Donate by Cash App or PayPal, or buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com.